Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome today to a video guide for Valor in Marvel Contest of Champions. So it's kind of split into two different sections. We're going to talk about how to earn Valor and all the tips and tricks for that, and then we're going to be talking about, what you should spend Valor on depending on where your progression is currently at in Marvel Contest of Champions. Because one of the really cool things about Valor is there's just so much different stuff you can buy for it, and depending on where you're at in the game, it makes sense to go for certain things over other things. So we're going to be talking all about kind of the thought behind that. But to start off, it's kind of split into four categories that we're going to go over very, very quickly. So the first one is 100% completing any event quest, chapter 3. So it's not all of the event, it's just chapter 3, 100%. So Master gives you 800k, Heroic gives you 600k, Normal gives you 400k, and then Beginner gives you 200k. And for each difficulty, I believe Beginner and Normal, like every opponent that you fight gives you like 1 Valor, Heroic every opponent gives you 2 Valor, and Master every opponent gives you 3 Valor. But to be honest, the amount you get like per fight in each one of these modes is very, very negligible. It's just such a tiny amount that it just doesn't really add up to anything, So the biggest reward from this is really just kind of getting that chapter 3 done for the most part, and then you can pretty much leave it with the monthly events there. The second way is via these Alliance bounty missions, also known as Test of Valor in the game. Now these can randomly trigger at any point where somebody in your alliance gains Valor. This can be via the monthly event quest, via the solo events, via the arena, two things we're going to talk about very, very shortly. But the point is, anytime anybody gains any amount of Valor, and this quest is currently not active, it has a chance to become active, and the person that triggers the quest, if 15 people participate in any mode of it, they're going to gain 100 additional 5-star shards. So one very sneaky tactic you can do is actually, if you complete the solo events or have got a lot of arena milestones and you wait for this to expire and then just claim all of those, then you have like quite a good chance to proc the event again, leading to almost no downtime for your alliance and a chance for you to get that 100 bonus 5-star shards. So that's just a bit of a pro tip there if you're looking to kind of maximize potentially the 5-star shard gain this month. But for any one of these quests, you get a very small bundle of Valor. You get 6,000 for Expert, and then 4,500, then 3,000, 1,500 moving down. So they're definitely kind of worth doing whenever they come around, because they're only kind of 2 boss maps. Super easy to get done for the majority of players. At least like the first 3 are. The Expert one, maybe a little bit tricky at sometimes if you roll into a bit of a bad map. But my kind of, pro tip for the easiest path, generally speaking, is the enhanced bleed and poison one. It's just the one here with guillotine. Like, the opponent is generally quite easy on that, so that's the one that I've been taking for the majority of these maps, and it's not working out too badly. But yeah, those are up potentially every 6 hours, so yeah, something to really kind of pull you back if you want to farm the Valor on that. But the rate of gain, it's all right, but it's nothing exponential, it's nothing crazy. It's just kind of a very nice top up there. And then we move on to method number 3, which is via the Ragnarok Vanquishing Blows events. So these are essentially like the hero use events, but you get a huge amount of bonus points for killing your opponent with whatever the required vanquishing blow is. So currently today it's win a fight using the special 3 as the last hit for bonus points, and the bonus points are 4,000. And to be honest, my kind of commentary on this one is, if it... I honestly cannot be bothered with a lot of the criteria for the Ragnarok Vanquishing Blows events. I think if you're looking to get these events done like super quick, you want to go into like Road to the Labyrinth Chapter 1, where you can just, have all these opponents that you can just one hit, because even winning a fight with a 5-star still gives you 2,000 points, so that's certainly a way to rack up the points pretty quickly if you're looking to... score quite high in this event. That seems a lot more efficient. But if you're going into something like Arena, that's probably the best place to farm these points, and that kind of ties into the fourth method of gaining Valor. You know, if it ties in well, if there's a good opportunity to use it, then I say go for it. But if it's something that takes you like hugely out of your way, I just don't bother. I just don't bother with these. The rate of Valor gain, it's alright. It isn't, again, a huge amount here. It's 1,100 for the first milestone, 2,250, 3,500, 5,800, and then 10,000 for the last one. So overall, it's only about like 22,000 Valor like every day. Maybe a bit more from the ranked rewards as well, depending on exactly where you go. Actually, that, you know, if you qualify for 100%, that pretty much takes it up to 30,000 Valor. But it is quite a bit of effort to put in. It's not something that I'm hugely bothered with, if I'm honest. I think, you know, that kind of the time invested, unless it's something that you're doing quite passively, it just doesn't seem to make a huge amount of sense to actively do that, because, you know, the 30,000 Valor that you get isn't really going to take you very far in the store at all. You know, if you look at it in terms of like how much of a 4-star that is, or how much of a 5-star, you're like, oh, that's just really not that worthwhile. So, you know, if it the point generally is I don't believe it's worth going out of your way to score a crazy amount in the solo events, unless you're looking to super hardcore grind, in which case you would have already known this information from day one. But yeah, I just don't really think it's worth it. One of the things that I do think is worth, and this is mainly for people who have kind of a decent 4-star, 5-star roster, is the 4-star featured arena. Like the Valor and points and all the rewards are absolutely crazy for this. So I'm about to make my final push toward that 4 million mark, but if you look at the milestone rewards, they ramp up so quickly into just a huge amount of Valor once you get to around that 4 million mark. And, you know, in the 4 and 5-star featured arena, you have access to the 5-star champions, which every 7 hours give you an insane amount of points. So if you strategically kind of plan out that grind from the first day, then you can clear up. If you get to 4 million, then you're also probably going to rank in the top 11 to 30%. That is 210,000 Valor. So that is the equivalent of doing about, you know, 8-9 days worth of solo events where you reach that final milestone. So I think, you know, plus all of the rewards that you get, the shards, all the milestones. So there's some really good stuff, and very, you know, this the 4 and 5-star featured hero arena, just even more rewarding. But if you want to grind up to maybe like 5 to, I'll probably say it's going to be over like 5 to 5.5 million. You can also get an additional 20,000 Valor, as well as, 400 4-star shards, and also an additional 200 5-star shards, in comparison to what you get 11 to 30%. So yeah, they've made the 4 and 5-star featured arena incredibly attractive, incredibly lucrative this month, for those people that have the time to kind of grind out and invest there. But kind of the worst case scenario, you know, the monthly event stuff, it's pretty easy to 100% the final chapters for, beginner, normal, and heroic. And in comparison to some of the previous month's events, like this one is significantly easier than last month, because for Ragnarok and Hela don't really present a huge amount of challenge in comparison to the level that Mephisto Morningstar kind of presented last month. But that kind of brings us on to our next question, is once you got a little bit of Valor, what should you spend it on? So I would assume for the majority of players, I think a lot of people are going to end up in kind of the 2.5 to 3.5 million region for Valor. Kind of the highest you can go, I believe, is about 6.8 to 7 and a bit million. But now, you know, you can infinitely farm the event quest if you want. So I'm interested to see if on top of all of the things, like, people are going to go really crazy for that stuff as well, to get additional Valor for the rankings. But I think the average person is going to have about, 2.5 to 3.5 million. Now, what would I buy for Valor? Now, I'm going to start off with kind of the free-to-play and progressing player perspective. You know, what I'm going to be buying on Whale Milker. So on Whale Milker, probably going to have just over 2 million Valor, and I'm going for double 4-star Hero Crystal, because, you know, it's all about, when you're a kind of newer and progressing player, it's all about expanding that roster as aggressively as you can to build up as many champions as possible for Arena, and also get as many chances as possible at getting a god tier champion, because those champions, even as 4-star, like, you can just absolutely carry you through the game. So I think my resources on Whale Milker and the free-to-play account, I'm going to buy 2 4-star hero crystals. I believe it's the best bang for my buck. However, one of the things that I also considered for free-to-play is also getting one of the tier 4 class catalyst crystals, because it's kind of, the game has a really weird point where if you're not doing any map 5 at all, T4 CCs are really hard to come by until you kind of get on that Alliance Quest ladder where you're running a lot of map 5, and then they just come absolutely flooding in and you just can't get enough of them. But initially, to get on that ladder, I think if you're struggling, if you've got a really strong roster of 4-star champions already, you probably want to grab a couple of these T4 class catalyst crystals if that is something that you're looking to get into. You're looking to kind of dive into the end game a little bit more and haven't yet got to a level where you've got powerful enough champions to do map 5. But then again, to be honest, you can get map 5 done pretty much every day with god tier 440 champions. So that's the reason that I decided to go for, you know, the 4-star hero crystal over the T4CC, but I can see a reason why you go for that as well. Now, on my main account, Seatin, I am a little bit torn between going for 5-star hero crystal shards and T2 alpha fragments, because those are some of the end game, you know, whale resources there. I want to scoop up as many of those as possible, so I'm having a little bit of a think exactly what I want to go for. I feel like I'm going to probably end up going for the 5-star hero crystal shards on Seatin and just kind of enjoying those as a nice bonus this month as well as everything else that's going on. But I don't know, I'm a little bit conflicted because there's a part of me that just wants to get as many 5-star champions, and currently, like, my focus is trying to get that 5-star blade and having as many chances at him when he comes back around. So that's really my priority over another 5-star rank 4 character. However, I do understand that there are some people that have been playing for quite a while that may have made quite a bad choice in terms of like which 5-star character, one of their first 5-star characters to take up to rank 4, that are just absolutely clawing for those T2 alpha fragments to form, you know, enough of those to get another character to replace that up to 5-star rank 4. So I can see why people would immediately go for those, and also kind of the big whales and prestige hunters, I imagine, are going to go for the T2 alphas. And I think in terms of like stuff to, what is it, top off what you you know, say you've got a bit of spare valor lying around. I think the tier 1 alpha catalysts, once you're ranking up a lot of 5-star champions, these go so quickly, and they're very cheap. They're 80,000, so I'm probably just gonna, you know, dump any remaining valor I have left into those. So finally, I just wanted to like brush over the consumables, because I'm not a huge fan of you know, spending valor on consumables. I don't really think it's the right move. I really just hate buying consumables in general for units and stuff like that. But the level 2 Alliance Revive, the single one, and the level 2 Alliance Team Revive, they are not bad value at all. I think the level 1s are complete ass in general because they are so bad. I mean, they revive your champions with 350 health. And in the current state of Marvel Contest of Champions, that is just atrocious, an atrocious amount. So yeah, I really don't think you know, the consumables in general, like, they're such ass value. They're so terrible. But, you know, if you do have a little bit of valor, maybe a couple of level 2 Alliance Team Revives would be an okay purchase. But again, just not a huge fan of the Alliance Revives in general. And none of the boost, I don't think are too beefy enough to kind of get you invested there. The attack one, maybe if you really need it for kind of a super hard push on Labyrinth of Legends. The 20% boost one is way too overpriced. The health one, maybe at some intervals, like, it's okay. It's an alright price there. But the 20% one, you can get loads of those just in a single month via all the Alliance Quest missions and stuff. And the experience one, definitely not. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts and kind of information on Valor. Hopefully, you know, you found it somewhat useful. I quite like Valor. I think it's a pretty cool system. It's definitely like the kind of step up from what we saw in the summer with a kind of whole Rocket Scrapyard event. I believe the biggest weakness of that event was, you know, Rocket Scrapyard itself having to go through and, you know, just get all the items, and it became very unnecessary and repetitive. So I'm just glad that they put it into a store like this. However, I must admit, like, in comparison to Dimensional rifts, like, that's the comparison I'm going to draw here. I like dimensional rifts a lot more than I like a system like Valor, because I'm a big fan of the massive, exciting gamble that dimensional rifts provided when they were, introduced this time last year, and then when they made their return in February. So I think in comparison, where this ranks on the list of like Marvel Contest of Champions events, this is still at a number 2 for me. Dimensional Rifts, they have yet to top that, and that was a year ago. Having like fully formed 5 stars and 5-star awakening gems, and having those on offer a year ago, and then having something like this, which is still a really, really nice bonus, especially, how the Alliance bounty missions kind of accumulate through the month, but it's not really in the same tier as what the dimensional rifts were at. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Valor event, but I'd still, I'd like to see a little bit more kind of endgame exciting 5-star stuff from some of the Valor awards, and some of the stuff like, the T4 basic and the T4 CC made it a little bit cheaper. I'd like to see some of this stuff reduced in cost, but regardless of which, the perspective that I have is just on Seatin, it's a really nice chunk of like either 5-star shards or T2 alphas, and on Whale Milker, my free-to-play account, it's 2 additional 4-star hero crystals and a little bit more, a little stack of bonus rewards for doing stuff that I was already going to do in the first place. So overall, I like Valor, but I prefer dimensional rifts. That is exactly what I'm trying to say there, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching, take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.